Your ideas help move this country. You are the American Innovator.
Hi everyone, Paul Akers, and welcome back to the American Innovator. As you know, the last 4 or 5 weeks we've been doing a series called Every 30 Days, a Significant Opportunity Passes in Front of Every Human Being. The question is, are you awake? And I always like to refresh everyone's memory on how that all came about. Simply about 5 or 6 years ago, I was on a business trip and I was asked by someone who came up with a great idea to stop and see them so they could show me their idea in Louisville, Kentucky. I stopped into a little FBO there and I met a guy named Mike who was a former Navy SEAL, and he showed me his idea, and it truly was a great product development idea for the construction industry and specifically for siding contractors. But as Mike and I began to talk, I was intrigued by him because he was a very accomplished individual, just let alone passing through BUDS training and becoming a Navy SEALs was quite significant. So I started to query him on why he was successful, and he told me the story that, you know, Paul, I've just come to learn that every 30 days, a significant opportunity was passing in front of me. The question was I awake enough to recognize it and take advantage of those opportunities? And I know that as you've watched the series that I've been doing, you know, I've got a chance to meet some amazing people, to tour General Atomics' Predator drone program, and just recently go back to North Dakota with a good friend of mine, Craig Clifford, which I haven't done that show yet, and be a part of his whole experience of growing up on the farm in North Dakota and being in the oil business, and just a lot of very interesting things, and then also going down with Morgan and his whole helicopter business. And you've seen a lot of really awesome things that I've been exposed to simply because Mike made me aware of this concept of every 30 days, a significant opportunity passes in front of every human being. And I think that's a very important concept. Well, let me tell you what happened recently and what this show is all about today. It's a little bit of a digression or going a different direction because I received an email today. And the email came from Sandy, one of my assistants in the office. And she said, Paul, I really think you should answer this email because it's addressed to you. And it is such a powerful concept. And nobody's really ever brought it to my attention like Mike did, the one who wrote this email. Excuse me, it's Dan. Dan, I'm sorry. I got the name wrong. Here we go. So this is what he said. He said, hey, Paul, have you ever made a video for Lean Wannabes? Oh, that's an interesting name, Lean Wannabes. Intriguing. What's he going to say here? You know, for people like me with disaster areas, shops that don't know where even to begin to get organized. I'm organized, challenged, and I'm sure I'm not alone. A step-by-step video for us dummies would be very interesting. You know, to show us the steps we need to go through, the details on planning, not just before and after shots of a messy area. Thanks, Dan. You know, I thought, wow, every 30 days. This is a powerful concept that Dan's talking about. I got to thinking as I read the email, you know, there's probably a lot of people out there that are paralyzed by the environment they're in. You know, you look around behind me and things look very buttoned down, very orderly, and very disciplined. And indeed, the vast majority of my life is buttoned down and organized and very disciplined. But I haven't really always been that way. You know, I do have that genetic tendency. I'm not going to deny that at all. But I can be a messy like anybody else. And I've shown you videos of drawers in my home, of drawers out in my shop that were absolute disasters and I think could rival anything that Dan's talking about. But yet I've been able to overcome that. And as you see, as you look behind me in my office and you come to our business, I've been able to overcome it in a significant way. And Dan, so I want to answer your question on this week's American Innovator for all those lean wannabes. And this is the answer. There doesn't need to be some big, fantastic plan to solve your problem or help you move from where you are. There doesn't need to be a book or anything else. It only requires a very simple concept. For you to make a tiny commitment to continuous improvement every day for the rest of your life. So what that would look like in my mind would just be for you to say, the first 2 minutes of every day, after you've taken a shower, you know, brush your teeth, got dressed, maybe before you answer your emails, to spend 2 minutes organizing something. 2 minutes sweeping, sorting, and standardizing something in your work environment, in your desk area, in your shop. And that's it. And then after that, you spend the rest of the 8 to 10 hours that you work every day being a messy. I give you permission to do that. You can make the biggest mess you want all day long and in everything you do. But all you need to do, that plan, is just to take 2 minutes every day and make small little improvements, 2-second improvements, organize something, and do it every day for the rest of your life. Because what's going to happen, Dan, is you're going to start to see the benefit when you go to that drawer, when you go to that area in your shop that has a little bit more organization, a little bit better processes, and you're going to enjoy the benefit so much you're going to start saying, I'm going to do it a little bit more and a little bit more. And before long, you will have gained momentum. You know, one time we interviewed someone on the radio show, the American Innovator, John and I did, and I'll never forget, he had one of the most powerful statements of all, and he said, you know, lean is so misconstrued and misunderstood. Most people think of lean as a cannonball, as a big grand solution to solving problems and gaining efficiency and operational excellence. It is not. He said it's a snowball. And how does a snowball start? With one tiny little snowflake that rolls and builds and slowly and consistently gets bigger and bigger and bigger until the accumulation of all those little improvements actually add up to something significant, a big snowball. Lean is a snowball. It's not a cannonball. It's very small, consistent processes in what you do every day. And in the case of being a messy or someone who's hyper disorganized, it's not a problem. I give you permission as a lean guy to be messy 90% of the time during your day. Just give me just a little bit every day, and you're going to start to see the benefits. I'll tell you a story to kind of end the show. The other day, I have a very nice shop. I've shown it in many videos, but in spite of what you've seen in the videos, remember, there have been times it hasn't been so great, and I've been frankly a little embarrassed by it. But the last couple weeks, one of the things that was bothering me, Dan, was I really wanted my shop to go to the next level. I wanted it incredible. And I've shown you some of the videos of what I've shot in my shop on the improvements that we've made in the tool cabinets and so forth. And also back in the area where I have my lawnmower area. It's really beautiful now. Well, I took the time and a concerted effort and I changed that. Well, the other day I had to go out and drill some holes and tap some taps and grab a die set and go through the whole process. Now, I know that if I would have went out to do that in my shop maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, I wasn't quite sure where the tap and die set was, and the drills were not organized quite as nice as they were this time. And I would have gone out there and spent 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes fussing around, unburying stuff and dealing with everything. But I went out there to drill this hole and to tap this hole out. And it took me all of about 2 minutes because I knew exactly where the tap and die set was. I knew exactly where the drills were. The drill batteries were charged because the charger was properly set up and the batteries were charged. And I knew exactly where the drill indexes were. The drill indexes were full. And I grabbed the correct drill. I grabbed the drill, the battery, the tap and die system, drilled the correct pilot hole, put the tap in, tapped the hole, pulled it out, put it away, put everything back on the shelf. It took me all of 2 minutes. And it was one of the most fulfilling things that I had done. It was such a simple process, but it was fulfilling because there was zero struggle. Everything was easy because I had taken the time and exercised the discipline to enjoy the benefits of making things lean and efficient and removing the waste. And when I finished doing that, I went in the house. I was actually drilling a hole for some of my cameras and my camera work that I do. And I realized that I had to do the operation a couple more times. And I didn't think to myself, wow, now I got to go back out there and wrestle with all that stuff and everything's kind of convoluted. I said, oh, this is going to be very simple. I walked right back out in the shop, pulled out the same tap and die set, performed the same operation in about 2 minutes, and put it back away. And I had an unusual experience. I said to myself, what other project can I do? What other thing can I fix? What other thing can I repair? What other thing can I improve? Because the environment in which I would make that improvement was so well organized and so well disciplined that it made me want to do more. And that is exactly what I'm talking about, Dan. And that's the key from moving from a lean wannabe to a real lean thinker. Small incremental steps. You'll start to see the improvements and the benefits of it. You'll gain the energy that I have every day in my life, because everything in my life is getting better. All my employees make improvements every day. I make improvements to everything I'm doing every day. The way I'm shooting this video right now is an improvement to the way I record the American Innovator, because I took the time to sort through some of the microphone issues. I have a really nice USB mic here, so hopefully the sound quality is a little better than before, because I am determined to make everything better. And then I realized the benefit of that for the rest of my life, and the people around me also gain the benefit of that. That creates more positivity, as Carl Wannabes would say, and the net result is life gets a whole lot better, a lot faster, and that includes lean wannabes like you, Dan. Thanks a lot. Hope you've enjoyed this week's American Innovator. We'll see you next week on the American Innovator.
The American Innovator has been brought to you by FastCap. To hear more, just go to theamericaninnovator.com.